You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, host, back with another episode. Excited to share this episode with you today, but before we do, huge shout out to our sponsors. The Oklahoma Hall of Fame have been sharing Oklahoma's story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com. And for daily updates, go to oklahomahof on Instagram and give them a follow. Our other sponsor today is the Chickasaw Nation. Now, the Chickasaw Nation have sponsored pretty much everything in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma. And it's an honor to have their name and their brand supporting this podcast. A huge shout out to Governor Anatobi for supporting this podcast. It really means a lot. This episode is brought to you by the Doghouse OKC. Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my two pups, and the Doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible, and so if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, they do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedogHouseOKC.com and follow them on Instagram at thedogHouseOKC, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
Metro Ford of OKC is proudly serving Oklahoma City with vehicles you can rely on and service you can trust. It's also why they're Oklahoma's #1 performance dealership. Shop the inventory today at metrofordokc.com, where the difference is real.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, host, back with another episode. We're down at the wonderful Bedford's camera, and my discount code is still working, so you can use that. I'll put it in the caption. But return guest, number 4 on the podcast. We've come a long way since the first time we did an episode at my old real estate office, and it was like 105 outside, and you were in that beanie.
But it was cold.
It was not cold.
It was January. Whatever. Don't let Mike bully you, folks.
But I feel like I've had some influence on you because you're in the golf space.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange, but friggin' love it. We can get into why I decided to do it, but it's a big departure from podcasting, and it's really fun.
So for people who haven't heard anything prior to this moment, back up a little bit. Give us a little bit of context, and then we'll lead into what it is that you're doing, show running a YouTube channel right now.
Sure. So I came up through the digital landscape, had always sort of considered myself slightly ahead of the curve. And so I was big when blogging was big. I'm going to sound 1,000 years old, but I was big when blogging was big, turned my attention to multimedia, started getting into After Effects and Premiere and all of this other stuff. Editing video at The Ringer, was their head of video strategy, started a podcast with JJ Redick, started a podcast company, started consulting all over sports media, eventually met LeBron through JJ. We started Mind the Game together. I still do Mind the Game, but LeBron and I and his team have, we gelled. And so, was approached about this golf thing, and it was just kind of like a once in a lifetime, how could you say no?
Yeah, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
Grateful to have Kelly, a very understanding wife, and your awesome son who met The Rock recently.
Unbelievable.
How good was that? Not just met him, but selfie with The Rock.
Pisses me off because The Rock is my childhood. I grew up with The Rock posters on the wall. It was like Kobe and The Rock.
Yeah.
And I bought he and I tickets to go to this conference called D23, which is like a massive Comic-Con style Disney conference that happens every other year. Mm-hmm. He's always wanted to go since we lived in LA. So I was like, all right, baby, you and me, we're going. I spent a effing fortune to be on the floor sitting close to people like The Rock.
Yeah.
And then LeBron planned a trip and it kind of derailed things. So God bless my wife for continuing. She stepped in. This is not her crowds. If you were to ask her what she thought, she would probably say just not a big fan of nerds.
In costume.
And we're raising one. But yeah, he just went up to The Rock and said, "What up?" And as I was just like, it was funny because I was that same day, I texted my wife, I met Bob from Bob Does Sports, the YouTube channel. And then she's like, cool story, hold my beer. And it's my son met The Rock. And anyways.
Yeah, because I think I texted you earlier in the summer and like, hey, you want to, do a recap pod or do something? And you're like, I'm in Scotland right now.
Yeah.
With LeBron and his Cavs teammates. And then you sent me a picture of 2 helicopters and you guys getting on, setting up the whole thing. But I think prior to that, you were watching Zach Bryan in Edinburgh.
Yeah, well, that was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's finest J.R. Carroll. I had posted that we had just landed. I took a walkabout Edinburgh, took some pictures, posted one on Instagram, took a nap because of the jet lag, woke up, and he was like, "Are you here to see us?" And I was like, "No."
No.
"Are you guys here?" And he's like, "Yeah, you should come through." And I thought, like, I actually did debate it. No shots, JR. I've seen Zach Bryan a bunch of times. But I was like, I'm in Edinburgh for one night. Is what I do really going to be a country music concert? And it turns out it was, and it was incredible. The Scotland didn't like go away. Like it was very Scotland there, like between songs, they're chanting their soccer chants and Zach is confused and it's great. It's bagpipes. It's great. No notes.
Okay, so prior to, obviously, you set up Mind the Game, which was wildly successful.
Yeah.
You end up turning Mind the Game from just a normal studio podcast setup. You do a couple of live events, which then went crazy too.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's Mind the Game is LeBron, Steve Nash.
Yeah. Originally it was JJ Redick.
Took a job coaching some team.
I don't understand how that happened. But then Steve Nash stepped in and now he is the co-host.
Yeah. And so that was wildly successful. So there's your pre-context to meeting LeBron, setting up everything.
Yeah.
And then LeBron decides he wants to get into golf.
Yeah. I mean, kind of out of nowhere, the bug hit him and, he had become obsessed. It's what I've enjoyed about the process of him getting into it is that he's not really hiding how bad he kind of is. And, because I don't know if you've played with players, but like especially notable people, like they'll cheat a little, like, he hits a lot of bad tee shots on our most recent trip and it's going out, nothing's getting edited out. No balls dropped for no reason, none of that stuff. So it's been fun to watch him learn. And it is wild because he's obviously one of the most famous, successful athletes really of all time. And to voluntarily get into a sport where you look so foolish sometimes, shout out him.
And being 8 foot tall and gangly, it's not a graceful sport to start at the age of whatever.
It's really not, right? Especially with the mileage on his body. I mean, if you watch his swing, it is still a little stiff.
Yeah.
And you watch this, we just got back from a trip with his son joined us, Bronny. Bronny's swing is beautiful. Like, it's wild what age does to you.
I mean, to the point you just said, he is, one of, if not the greatest athletes of all time and the most recognizable athletes of all time.
Yeah.
And then to take him out of something that he has so much success and finesse and natural talent in and hard work, to give him a set of golf clubs and say, start now in front of the entire world.
Entire world. It's almost masochistic. Is that the word I'm looking for? Where you love the harm, like you're addicted to it.
You're gonna get roasted. But then from a content perspective and a rebranding and something to keep him relevant perspective, like the fact that he's deciding, hey, let's turn the cameras on.
Yeah.
Let's have let me join the golf community that's so many golfers can relate to LeBron James now.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody who plays golf can relate to it, because I can't relate to him as a basketball player. I know what it's like for him to chip in, which that post went viral recently, right? He chipped in and went nuts. Yeah, I also know what it's like for him to shank one out of bounds, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
We all know that. And then obviously everyone loves golf because of like the analogies to life and how long you can play. But yeah, it's amazing that not only has he decided to dive into it, but he's done it the way that he always does most things, which is all in or everything, which is, I mean, we're doing it right.
Exactly. And he's such what I've really enjoyed about it, and this is like, perhaps I'm thinking too deep about it, but it was I've told you before, I've always tried to stay opportunistic in my career, and I never just sort of like want to settle and be normal or anything like that. And what I've enjoyed about it is that he fell in love with the golf YouTube space specifically, like plane rides, late nights. That was his bit. And I remember I'd not really heard of Bob Does Sports, and he was like, I'm going to be on Bob Does Sports. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. I just kind of nodded along. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is kind of amazing. Like, that was like my first entry point into YouTube golf. I'd heard of like Grant Horvath and people like that, but, was starting to dive in. And then he was like, you should watch the Internet Invitational. Yeah. And I pull that thing up and there's like 4 videos. Each one of them's 3 hours long. And I was like, no effing way. And I wound up watching that entire GD thing. I loved it. And so that's when I was like really embracing the space. He was embracing it. And, you know, weird to compare myself to LeBron, but there is like
We
this.
can now.
But
We're
there is this
golfers.
level of like, I don't really want to do sort of what everyone thinks I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
And for me in my career, like I kind of accomplished everything, just about everything you can accomplish in podcasting, you know, like, and I think the medium has a ton of room for growth, but in terms of sports athlete driven podcasts, you kind of can't get much better than that. So then what's next? And you could tell who gets it and who doesn't when I'm like, I'm going to start a golf YouTube channel. Some people are like, are you doing okay, buddy? Like, you know what I mean? And I think LeBron's getting that same reaction too in some way, shape or form. But it's one of those things that if you know, you know, if you know just how successful golf YouTube is,
It's crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, there are like legitimate HBO shows that get like less viewers than like a weekly episode of
professional golf gets less viewers than YouTube golf.
Yeah. So,
You know, like-
so it's a fun space. And I think, you know, Lord knows, but I think there's a massive void in making golf cool. And that's also another thing that's a fun thing to be a part of. Like LeBron looks sick out there in those freaking outfits. I'm like, dude, if that's not selling merch for somebody.
Well, you
like,
look at Melbourne, right? What Melbourne golf is all about.
Exactly.
You know, Stephen Melbourne has done with the Melbourne brand. $20-30 million at least, you know, a year. It's a ridiculous brand.
Yeah.
But the content they put behind it, they made golf cool, right? They've taken the streetwear and the golf and put it together. They sign golfers who are of that type, right? They sign Jason Day, they sign Freddie Couples, they sign Anthony Kim, you know, not a huge fan of Michael Block that they signed. They signed the recent Jackson Coyban, who's #1 am in the world. Like, they're pushing the boat out and changing that narrative. But then also, you took a golf YouTube, and everyone knows, like you said, you kind of know the Grant Horvat, and like, but they also swing it good. You think of Bob Does Sport, it's a bunch of degenerate dudes who just want to play golf.
So relatable.
Right?
Though.
Again, so relatable. And Fat Perez and the whole crew there. There's, you talk about Internet Invitational. Brad Dahlke wins that, right?
Yeah.
He's from here. Edmund, you know, went to OU, was, you know, lost in the final of the USM.
Has he come on the pod yet?
Not yet, no.
Come on.
I need to set that up. And I think also you have some experience as well with the guys from Dude Perfect.
Yep.
I think like the golf with Dude Perfect, it all kind of comes together as far as like people want to watch entertaining stuff that's relatable. And then the branding and the amount of money that's around, or the opportunity from a business perspective is huge. You look, you know, if you look into the, not just the money that these guys are making from YouTube, but just the brand deals. And a lot of these guys are being smart and setting up, like that Grant Horvat has Primo, his own brand, Good, the whole brand of Good, right? They're in all the stores. They're now sponsoring invitationals and all the things, like they're sponsoring players. Like, it's not just like, oh, cool, golf YouTube, bunch of old guys hitting it, like, you know, wearing stupid
Dang.
hats, you know?
Okay, I might, can you clip that so I can send it to my parents and just so they can understand like just what the opportunity actually is? This guy put it better than I ever could.
Like,
no, you're dead right though.
Yeah.
There's much bigger opportunity than just simply YouTube. And you know, I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled that they like trusted me to do it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the relatability thing too, there's just so much joy I think that the sport can bring, obviously some heartache, but I think that's another thing that's been like really fun is to work outside. I haven't done that, you know, most of the time I'm like Hunchback of Notre Dame, and to be able to go outside and just got back from Bandon, beautiful, like Scotland, beautiful, like it's really just an unbelievable gig. And yeah, I mean, the Bob Does guys crush it. Absolutely crush it. And LeBron's going to have to live that's what's so cool is that like what you said about the Grants guy, they can swing it. Somebody like DM'd me and was like, you need to watch Bryson's channel. Like, that's how you track a ball. I'm like, yeah, trust me, if I'm filming Bryson, I know where I'm putting the effing camera. Yeah. But when I'm filming like Channing Frye and these people who don't play golf, like the ball could go any which way. Like I can't put a camera guy in every spot on the golf course. Yeah, exactly. But the Bob Does guys, what I love about them is they're just, it feels like us, like me and my buddies, like we try to play golf and it's really hard for us to find the time. You got kids, you got work. It's really hard for us to carve out the time to get together and play golf. So once you do, it's such a celebratory thing. And I think that's what they do really well. Absolutely. Is they make it feel like really fun. And now LeBron has to be in that. Like he's got to find time to play golf in between.
What I love too is that Bob Does Sports, his bagel reviews
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah, they're so
And
fun.
his haircut clip, like it's got a supercut. He's like, I look like a defenseman from Manchester. He's just like, that's, you know, he's obviously got a lot of talent as far as comedic side, and you know, like they know what they're doing. They're wildly successful.
Oh, no.
They just signed another guy from Oklahoma State, Mason McNutt.
Cool.
He's from he came from a previous channel as well, but he went to OSU and kind of is that connection. Really bigger dude, but he's played with Caruso and a few of the guys in Florida earlier in the year. But I think the one thing that kind of fascinates me from knowing you, you know, you have a little bit of experience in the golf space prior, you know, to all of this stuff, but marrying your skill of storytelling and directing to, you know, and putting it in the golf medium, and then meeting these awesome people that you obviously have idolized and worked with your entire life in the basketball space.
Yeah.
Has to be one of the coolest things.
Oh, 100%. It's like, you know, I think digging into the golf YouTube space and seeing, you know, what could we fill, you know, because I don't think we'd want to just be another channel. And obviously having an insanely famous person helps a lot. But even then, it's like the way that I approach anything, I would not be where I am if I just was like, oh, we got LeBron, we're good. Like I always tell myself, like, pretend he's not here. What would you do? And that's why I think like Mind the Game works. He could theoretically step out. Somebody could step in, and the branding, the vibe, we'd probably get less viewers, but it would have an identity. That's what I'm hoping to do with this golf thing. And, you know, if you watch the entirety of the Scotland episode, it's an hour, 40 minutes. So like if you didn't know, you know, whatevs. But like, there's a lot of heart to it, especially towards the tail end. The guys sort of talking about the relationships with each other. And there's so much nostalgia. There's so many people who grew up with LeBron, that feeling of like celebrating possibly the end of his career, like, you know, celebrating all these things, the 10-year anniversary. I'm not sure when this episode's coming out, but, you know, we've got one with his high school team, and, you know, that documentary, More Than a Game, is like something that like I grew up watching like all the time. Him and the Fab Five from Akron. I mean, just an unbelievable story. I don't even know if you know much of it.
I don't know. I have no context
I
for
mean,
that.
like, imagine like, you know, the AAU basketball program, you know, these high school programs, parents, you know, take their kids, they sort of, you know, all gather in one school. And so you have your sort of best of California school, your best of New York school, best of whatever. And you know, you have these almost regions of like the best of the best. And then you have this team in Akron, Ohio, basically all grew up in the same neighborhood. And they stayed a team from very young all the way through high school to become one of the most successful teams of all time. And it wasn't like they were plucking people from outside in. They were just like, this is our group. And we're sticking to it. And it's one of the coolest. I rewatched the documentary on my way to film that one, and I just remember being like, that really was so awesome. And then to see them all kind of reunite on the golf course. I mean, legitimately, maybe the worst golfer I've ever seen is in that episode. Legitimately, the hardest I've ever laughed is watching that man swing and miss like 12 times and literally can't hit it. And anyway, so that's a special thing. And to be able to like tell that story, like, younger me could never ever imagine to be around that group of people and to be able to tell a story of them reuniting. I don't know. It's just amazing.
Well, and to that point, right? That's what golf trips does for guys.
Yeah.
Right. Like getting guys together. And I'm sure that, you know, that's the beauty of kind of what you're doing now with LeBron is there's so many like great locations that you Bandon Dunes, Scotland, Pinehurst, you know, there's all these other places as well, but you can go to these places with, you know, an even number of guys, right? Pretty much if you want to go 4 or 8 or whatever it is, like you talk about a high school team, like you can play as a 5, but you have this camaraderie and these stories that you're on the golf course. Yeah, or it's all filmed, but you take away the cameras, you're still having the same experience as far as like the guys getting together.
Totally. And that, you know, that's been our mandate. Like, I can absolutely promise you, I'm not trying to gain subscribers, but like, this is not the LeBron you've seen for a long time. Right. He even grabs the camera at one point. It's just like, you know, the cage is gone. Like, I'm old. I don't give an F anymore. I'm saying stuff. And he says a lot in the episodes we record. So,
When you have this conversation about, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel around golf, and you're talking to him about it, and it's in the early phases, you know, I assume the only time you see him would be while you're recording Mind the Game or just chatting, whenever. what are those conversations? Do you try, are you like, hey, I know golf. I'm really good at golf. I can do this. You're there to obviously direct and do your thing. But I think one thing I saw in a tweet that you reposted was show running and directing a YouTube channel is a little different than just, hey, I'm a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
So how are those early conversations? How do you formulate this plan to go forward? And then from your professional role, taking your profession and what you've done for documentaries into, hey, now we're doing YouTube, but it's TV and it's where everyone's, it's different.
Yeah. The guy who ever posted, I forget his name, but I mean, the point he was trying to make was that there's significance that he highlighted that, hadn't even really dawned on me that, hey, by the existence of this person, by LeBron being able to go out to a person who made their entire career off of self-making their own thing. By doing that, you cut out a little bit of the studio situation that I think has somewhat lost its way in the sense that it's so, sort of bottom line profit driven that a lot of studios operate in a way that is like, it's got to be this kind of story. It's got to have this, kind of vibe. And and the actors have to have a certain amount of Instagram followers. And it's that sort of curated that if people actually want to make something that they believe in, that they want to, a true creator space, they can do it. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's an honor to be like considered somebody that people want to work with. And my approach to this, like I said, this whole project, this isn't really new. I think that the grace that we all, me and my crew and stuff, like we all have with each other in the sense that like we've never walked 18 hole. Like that's the thing too. I mean,
that was my
I love
question.
you, LeBron. I love you, brother. I'm talking directly to you right now. Can we find some courses that have carts, that allow carts? That'd be sick. And he, he's such a jerk. Like he knows we're walking with cameras and stuff. And in one of his bits, he loves to run away. He loves to, if he sees a hill, he'll start running up the hill, knowing full well that we have to chase him. It's like our job to chase him. And he laughs. He's laughing the whole time. We could hear him in his freaking thing, just laughing at the fact that I'm like 20 feet behind.
Your legs are half as long.
Oh, my legs are like nothing. I'm 5'0". And so anyway, so carts, I'm looking forward to a world of carts. We've also gone to multiple climates where it could be, high 80s or high 50s. And so I'm also packing like I'm going like on a year-long trip because I don't know what the day's going to be like.
The fog could roll in a band.
The fog could roll in, it could start raining. I could be freezing. It could be hot. Like it could be all the things.
It's been a challenge then from a content perspective as far as weather and climate and
it's been fun. I mean, nothing like that, but the terrain's definitely been a challenge. Like, I mean, our most recent road trip, I had the thought like, after day one, my feet were just dying. And I remember being like, how the heck am I going to get through
What
this?
shoes were you wearing?
Bad ones. Dude, I have kind of a funny story. So I bought some like Nike Air Max golf shoes because I thought they looked cool. Deeply, deeply uncomfortable shoes. And
they do look good though.
They look sick.
Yeah.
And I just need to buy some insoles. This is my fault.
What color?
Black. Just trying to keep it chill, production.
Yeah.
So anyway, LeBron's notoriously early to like most things. And so we were kind of like just getting our stuff together. We get the note, hey, LeBron's here. We're like, crap, grab the shoes, go out. And it's like hole 3 of this. And I had tied the shoes like 4 times by then because I'm just kind of like, what's going on with these? Well, it turns out that another one of our crew people, like his normal shoes are the black Nike Air Maxes, like identical looking. They're just not golf shoes. And so I'm like walking and I see the bottom and I was like, these aren't my shoes. And like, by the way, LeBron, they can all hear this. And they're like, wait, you're wearing another man's shoes? And I'm like, what in the world? Whose shoes are these? And this guy behind me is like, those are mine. And then LeBron's like, what size are you? I was like 9.5. And he's like, what about you? He's like 12.5. And so not only was I dealing with bad terrain, but I was also like in shoes that were just like way too big for me that I didn't even think about until like hole 3. I mean, that's how locked in you are. You could be in freaking my version of clown shoes and you don't even really notice. You're so locked in trying to make good content. Anyways.
And Abandon is up and down, dunes and slippery.
Have you been?
And no, but I watched plenty of video. I want to go. I was very jealous.
Abandon Trails.
I wasn't jealous you go to Scotland because I've been there, but I was super jealous you go to Abandon.
Abandon Trails is like one of the hardest courses I've ever had to walk. It's just so like this. And there's just, if you're not watching where you're walking,
That's my next question. Is like you need to be careful because someone could break an ankle and it's not a fun place.
I thought it was going to be me, but the rest of the courses were a little easier to walk, a little bit more on the sort of like ocean, and so not flat necessarily, but like the terrain is more like flat. So I was we did trails day one, and once I saw the rest of the course, I was like, okay, we just happened to do the hardest one day one. So
cannot wait to see your average year end step count this year compared to last year.
We got to get those carts going. Come on.
Well, and that's the great thing that Bob Does Sports and the other YouTube guys do, and Bryson, whoever it is, the guys we've named. You just set up a GoPro in the golf cart and kind of like,
oh, it's amazing.
It's a lot easier for you guys as far as content because that's your set. Your set, yes, you have your running cameras and you can have golf carts riding around.
Right.
But like when you put LeBron and whoever he's playing with in a golf cart, you're just like,
they're also probably a lot more open. Like I haven't even watched all the cart footage that we've shot. We've played one course with a golf cart and it was like heaven. It was amazing. But I don't even know fully what was, but I'm sure they were much more comfortable because then what happens in Bandon is that I'm the golf cart cam with like little DJI eyes and in front of them, just like this, walking, trying to stay ahead of them, my little legs. So it's I'm excited for more normal condition golf. I think that's coming.
So Scotland was the first big trip.
Yeah.
Was Scotland, regardless of a YouTube channel, was there a plan for him to just get back with his buddies anyway for the anniversary? Or was it like, hey, we should do this all together. Everyone loves golf. Let's go.
I honestly don't know. I think they were always going to plan a trip, and I think it was always going to be. I think LeBron got into golf about a year ago, and I think it was always going to be a golf trip.
Yeah.
So, and there's guys on that team who play golf. J.R. Smith is like a legitimately good golfer.
Yeah. Did he go to college?
He did
he went
after
back to school.
Yeah,
right?
he went back to school. Yeah. So I think they were always going to do some sort of golf trip. I found out about it just a couple weeks prior. So a lot of planning had to go into that and, flying into Edinburgh, driving up to Inverness, so it was a lot, but that was a really cool experience. I had never been to Scotland. What a place.
Where did you guys play? Or where did they play?
They played a few different places. The place that we were allowed to film in was Castle Stewart, which was incredible. I mean, it's so pretty. It's crazy. And a part of me was like, this is just like heaven on earth. Like, I just was so happy with it, so I loved it. And they were super nice, welcoming. We took forever. I remember hole one. I mean, it's kind of reflected on the episode, but hole one, I remember we timed it and it was 35 minutes. And we just like, as a crew, looked at each other. We're like,
we're going to get kicked off after 6 holes here.
Also, our tee time was like 7:30 because it gets so dark there so late. And so, but I just remember thinking like, this is how it's going to go from here on out. Thankfully it hadn't. They just hadn't seen each other. So there was a lot of like, hey, what's up? A lot of jokes.
To capture.
Which you have to capture, drinks, like the whole thing. So yeah.
With that, like, logistically going to a golf course in a completely different country with guys who don't play a sport in the UK, Castle Stewart, you said sounds like they're most accommodating. Do you have to shut the golf course down? Like, what is it logistically as far as like how the golf course kind of reacts to you showing up with cameras and taking 35 minutes to play one hole?
Well,
because as traditional golfers, they'd be losing their mind behind you.
Look, I'll say this. That was the only hole I've done since, like literally since that took that long. I think it was a really special moment. And that tee time happened to be the last tee time of the day. So we got to like kind of chill. Other courses aren't shutting down. We got tee times and we got to go. And I take a lot of pride in this, that our production does not slow anything down. I've done fact-finding stuff. I've talked to people. I've heard many, many, many stories about how production slows down the golf. We do not do that. We keep up, so, and it helps, honestly, if we're at a tight, we've been in tight tee times. It helps when you're just like, hey, we got to do best ball. We got to do match play best ball. Yeah. We got to keep this thing moving. And so we sometimes have to make those decisions too. So
do we have like a set kind of season 1, season 2, season 3, or is it just like, hey, when he has time, because obviously YouTube can be, with everything about YouTube and, weekly episodes, all the content, like it's very hard to do when he's going into a season. And then if he's getting the guests out, it's very hard to coordinate their schedules too. What's the plan going forward?
I mean, so I would not say this is by any means guest driven. Guests are great. Collaborations are great. We've got some really fun stuff coming. I've heard from a lot of exciting people. So since the episode went live, so I think we're gonna have some fun people on. But what I like about something like Bob Does Sports is that, yeah, they've had LeBron on, but I kind of have gotten so used to them. I watch them without LeBron, and that's legitimately what we're trying to build. A lot of it's following LeBron and his guy, Randy Mims. Randy is a person in the NBA space where it's like, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But if you know, you know. He's been with LeBron at his hip since he was a rookie, and even prior to that, they're always together. And Randy makes everything happen, and he is a personality in himself. He's been playing golf for a long time, much longer than LeBron. So a lot of it's going to be the two of them. I think our publishing cadence is still a little up in the air. I mean, we have a bunch of stuff booked. I'm always going to err on the side of being conservative because I believe that consistency is really key in YouTube golf and YouTube in general. But you come out of the gates and promise a weekly episode and you can't fulfill it 6 weeks in, you've kind of like lost the plot. So right now we're kind of a little bit in about a monthly cadence kind of point of view. I mean, when you film for a 2-hour thing, you're essentially doing a movie. So you got a lot of content to spread out over the course of a month, which is sort of what the approach is we're taking. We're also like learning how to make this thing. I mean, not to keep shouting them out, but the Bob Does Sports guys were the first people to do a call with me. Like that was just a general fact-finding call. They were just very helpful on how they do productions, how they do post-production. And I remember I was like, tracers, talk to me about tracers. It's very important. I filmed one golf thing with Bill Simmons ages ago, maybe like a decade ago. It was not my favorite thing. And a part of it was we didn't do a good job capturing the golf and making it understandable to those who are watching.
Right. Flight and tracers.
Ball flight and tracers are massive. Yeah. The ball flight thing's really hard when the golfers aren't as good. Like it just is.
That's what makes the tracers fun.
I don't know, but the tracers then are essential.
Yeah.
And so Bob was like, brother, that is
top of the list.
It's top of the list. It's the most time consuming, and there's no easy way to do it because there are plenty of software programs. If any are watching, reach out. Yeah. There are plenty of software programs where they say, plug your footage in. We got it. Problem is that they're successful only about 50, at best 70% of the time. And you don't want to be reliant on something that's unreliable. And so, yes, we put it through the program, but then you have to watch it and make sure it's accurate. And then for the ones that got wrong, you have to manually go in and trace it, literally, frame by frame.
Click.
Yes.
Point it.
Yeah. And I remember the Bob Does Sports guys telling me that, and I was like, there's got to be a better way. And they're like, we've been doing this for a long time. There's really not that much of a better way. So manually tracing these tee shots, I mean, freaking whole one of our Scotland trip, a guy hits the ball and he hits it, it bounces off his own leg and it goes backwards. And we were talking about, we've never seen a tee shot go backwards like that before. And what's funny is like, we had to slow it down to see what happened. Because live, I'm watching it live. I literally like, it's like you blink, you miss it. Yeah. And somehow the ball wound up 5 feet behind the guy. And we were all talking about like, what happened? And then we got to like, look at the footage and you see like hits the ball. It just hits his leg. Another guy hits a tee shot and it hits the women's little tee box and bounces completely backwards. Like that, these shots are going literally everywhere.
Yeah.
So, that's a difficult thing is the tracer bit. So that's why I say like, we're a bit of on it. We're hoping to eventually publish more and more, but I think we're just learning how to make this thing. And I don't know, we've got some like really great episodes in the can that I'm like excited about. So
the good thing too is that like, and then from my perspective and just listening to, there's such a variety of people who play golf. And so your guest field is ginormous compared to what it was with Mind the Game or any other like basketball centric stuff you've done.
Yeah.
Right. I know they can have their basketball people who are business people, but with golf, it's like anyone.
Yeah. I mean, so Mind the Game, this is actually a really good point you're making. With Mind the Game, we've had non-basketball people on. Last year we had Timothy Chalamet on. Mm-hmm. They approached us. And
was that one of your lives?
Yeah. At the Directors Guild. And they approached us about him coming on the show. We had to have a real talk about what would it make sense? How do we make this make sense? And what I was grateful for was that he was willing to do a pre-production meeting. And so, myself, Steve Nash, Timothy Chalamet on a pre-production meeting for like 2 hours talking about how do we bridge the gap between the skill of acting and the preparation that goes into it and everything like that with what we talk about on Mind the Game. Luckily that worked out, but we had to get there, you know. There's none of that with golf.
No.
You just show the F up and play the game. And like that to me is, I'm excited about that because like I said, we've already heard from people from all walks of sort of what, you know, walks of life and what they do for a living is all over the map. So, I mean, yeah, I'm so excited for probably just the people I'm probably going to get to meet through this, you know. It's a really cool opportunity. It's also fun watching people like see us all together, like to see, like imagine you and your buddies are just chilling and then like LeBron, Bronny, Austin Reeves, Bob Does Sports walk by and you're just like, what just happened? You know, that just happened for a bunch of people. And I had so much joy in that. After the round we played, you know, I went to the clubhouse to have just like a celebratory beer. The trip was over. My legs survived.
You switched out your
literally everyone in the bar had like they're all showing each other their grainy photos of LeBron and they're just like, can you believe it? And I just could overhear it. And it's so cool. It's like that just made so many people's days to see it, you know. It is really cool.
Well, and for the Bob the Sports guys to do that with LeBron James too, right? Like for them, they're like, you know, like they just like a bunch of guys who started a YouTube channel. They've played with golf celebrities. They've done a Tiger thing, maybe, you know, whoever it is that they've played with.
Yeah.
But then to have someone completely outside of their space who is LeBron James say, I want to play golf with you guys because I love what you do. Come to band.
Seem cool. And they do seem cool. Like they are like, we had to talk about it a little bit. And it's like, could you ever have imagined this? And it's like, that's what the sport kind of brings people. It's like the great equalizer. And if you're like a good hang, then you're qualified to do this thing. And I think that to me is where it's just so, I don't know, it's such a like pleasure to be on a thing where it brings so many people joy and connection and all that other stuff. And the Bob Does Sports guys are like a prime example of that. They could never have imagined that LeBron James would reach out to them to want to golf with them. That is like bananas. And they're just such good guys. I mean, that we had conversations on the LeBron side where we're just like, dang, they're just like solid dudes and they're funny and they do not hold back. They will make fun of you if you're LeBron James or if you're Mike Hearn. It does not matter. They're ripping you apart and it's so freaking funny. Yeah, I'm excited for that episode.
And I'm sure for the professional athletes of the world that he's going to play with, it's refreshing for them to have those conversations because all the time they've had people come and ask and want and do this, sign this, do this advertisement. Like their whole life has been centered around, you know, their image. Whereas now you have a bunch of guys coming in. It's just like, let's just play golf and hang out.
Just play golf and hang out. Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, yeah, it's great. I'm thrilled that this is what I'm doing now, and you know, still doing a bit of podcasting, but this is the main gig, and it's truly a dream gig. Like I friggin' love it.
Where's the next trip? Nothing yet, or you're not allowed to say? I know you have a trip.
I mean, I actually like. I'll say that there are a multitude of possibilities. Yeah. I think it's pretty likely we got to play in Philly at some point.
You have to.
And I'm excited about that because there's a lot of fun Philly personalities.
There's so much golf up there.
Yeah, there's so much golf. There's so much golf up there. And so I don't know if that is the next one, but it'll definitely be soon that we play in Philly.
Yeah. When I played the USAM at Marion recently, the range bowls, slight plug, I made it.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Humble brag?
The range bowl.
This little tournament I played in.
I sucked, by the way, but I made it there.
It's so sick.
The range balls on the driving range on the short game area were numbered 1776.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, friggin'.
I'm like warming up. I'm like, you know. And
which from where you're from, though, that's like yesterday.
Yes. Right. But it was just.
We celebrated. Like, Dad, we made it 250 years. And you're like, bro, call me when you've made it 1,000.
Yeah, I just started giggling. I was like, these guys, like, you know, there's not that many international people in the field. I think out of 312, there was like 34 countries represented.
Right.
Not that many people. But yeah, I was hitting balls on the range and I looked down and I was like, I can't get away from this stuff. You gotta be kidding me.
What's your favorite course you've ever played? Ever? Yeah.
Pine Valley.
Okay.
Which is in New Jersey, which you fly into Philly and drive into New Jersey. It's like an hour out of Philly.
And what is your like white whale course?
I mean, Augusta National.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Right. I mean, it's pretty good. It's so funny. Like my whole algorithm is freaking golf now, which is so funny because I barely play it. And I just started taking lessons at Twin Hills, you know, because I'm out there and I'm just like so beautiful. I wish I could swing the club better. And so I've been motivated to play a little bit more. So yeah, I'm like becoming different. My whole wardrobe is golf. Like everything is golf. Like I actually pack now on these trips an extra bag to bring back so much crap.
Yeah.
It's like a part of my budget. I don't
Your
even.
abandoned hat.
I think I bought so much crap, and we
Because
played
there's
it.
so many different logos. The tree, there's the sheep farm, there's the
Dude,
sheep, whatever it is.
Actually, like
Tree farm. Sorry,
I'll show you
up in North Carolina.
I'll show you after this. But I'm wearing a shirt from Pumpkin Ridge,
Yeah.
Which is where Tiger Woods had some big moment, amateur.
I think it's US Am win. One
Yeah,
of his US Am wins.
yeah. And
he won 3 in a row.
They have a 30th anniversary shirt that they made, and on the back it's like outline of Tiger doing
He's giving
this.
him one of those.
And I was like, and they made t-shirts and hoodies. And I was like, I need a hoodie. I need a t-shirt. I need blah, blah, blah. So I have completely done a transformation in my wardrobe.
There's some incredible golf logos out there.
100%.
Right? And they're now understanding merchandise, and there's a lot of clubs. Twin Hills has done it. There's a lot of clubs that have gone like a straight member logo, or they just have 3 or 4 different logos that are limited runs for the members based on events that have happened in the club, right? So there's a lot of really cool stuff out there that, yeah, your wardrobe's about, you're about to have a lot more.
It's a problem. It's a problem. I think I brought back like 9 hats.
Yeah.
Which is like insane. Like what? It's one of those things that you tell yourself, well, I don't know when I'm going to be back here next, and blah, blah, blah. And band in particular, they have so many different, I think they have like 6 or 7 actual courses, and each course has a different logo, and each logo is sick. And, you know, so I'm like, I brought back like I bought a, camo hat, never wear camo. I brought a bucket hat with all the logos on it. My wife's like, you don't wear bucket hats. Like I don't know. There's this kid in Bandon who like designed like maybe the ugliest hat I've ever seen, and he almost talked me into buying it. It was like where I drew the line. And I was like, my wife's gonna be like, you have a problem. You have a problem if you buy that hat, which was like metallic. It was like a metallic bucket hat that had like the thinnest little bill. So it wasn't even like a proper bucket hat. It was just kind of like, it was something like Samuel L. Jackson would wear or something like, but it was like metallic with cheetah print. And it had the Bandon Trails logo. And I was like, I need kind of sick, and sick for other people, not for me.
Yeah, that's the cool side of it too, is the memorabilia side of things are from all of these golf courses that you're going to, whether it's a historic place like Scotland or if it's Bandon. Like memorabilia, like I collect flags.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of
somebody
flags.
on our trip does that.
I got a lot of flags from places I've been to, and then there's always something. But I think hats is easy, but it's also tough to collect. So it's like, what do you collect that's, something like ball markers or whatever it is. But that's the fun side of it, is like your office now is just going to have all of this. Some of these clubs do American footballs, like the really cool high-end American footballs that you see the crest or logo on. Like that's kind of a cool thing to do. But yeah, we need to go to the Masters.
Brother, say the word. My favorite.
I was not in the lottery this year. Didn't get a ticket.
My favorite thing to go to is Ryder Cup. I've gone to 2 now.
Oh, you did that. That's right. How was that?
I've gone to 2 now. Amazing.
2 American ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Medina. And that was like, that was a long time ago.
That was brutal for you guys.
We got our asses kicked. And then obviously Bethpage was really fun. A riot.
Golf atmosphere.
But it's so fun. It kind of ruins going to other golf tournaments because you have so much fun.
Yeah.
You drink so much beer.
Yell a lot.
You yell.
Yeah.
And luckily we didn't, we were cool. I will say my buddy definitely made some international players laugh because that guy walks by. I don't remember who it was, but my buddy was like, "Healthcare's overrated." That's a good. That's a good. But it's great. It's such a fun event, dude. What's funny is I barely remember. It was so fun. We were we were pretty gone by
But again,
1
that's a
p.m.
guy who's going to a golf event, right?
So fun. I remember I got the call to go 4 days prior.
Yeah.
The exact words my buddy goes, "Do you want to be a king?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Do you want to?
He's like, "I got an extra ticket to the Ryder Cup."
I know
and I
how
was
to sell it.
obviously, I'm going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time.
Well, welcome to the golf space more than you already have been.
Yeah.
It's exciting to watch. It's fun to see through your eyes and see through your lens and see the things that, the stuff that you send me or I know through your world and your view. And then you watch the YouTube video and I'm like, oh, that's the context. That makes a lot of sense and a lot of fun. But then also this is just the beginning of this awesome journey that you guys are going on, and you're a part of LeBron's new golf game. I can't imagine what's going to happen when he gets his first hole in one, or like all of this crazy stuff that's going to happen, because it happens in golf, right? Like by turning the cameras on, you're going to see.
What's funny is like, so I have it on my phone. Like I didn't film very much on my phone, but his almost hole in one that has since like gotten millions and millions and millions of views. Well, it wasn't. We didn't post it. Like, or sorry. Yeah. Long story short,
I did see it.
No, but this is actually what I'm talking about. Yeah. I've never felt like I'm like Batman in the chair with all the freaking buttons I could push or whatever. Like he basically goes, we're playing a short course, so it's basically every tee box is par 3.
Par 3s, yeah.
And he starts talking about like, Bob does is like, dude, can you imagine if you get a hole in one? And he was like, oh man, yeah, Austin and I have a bet. Whoever gets the first hole in one owes the other person, blah, whatever. And LeBron was like, I'm going to get a hole in one here. And so just for fun, I pull up my phone. And for a guy who says, I think I'm going to get a hole in one here, it was close. Okay. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So he hits it. And everybody really is right, like, no effing way. Because from our perspective, it did look like it was going in. Obviously, it wasn't as. I'm with you. Right. It was not. It was
just posting the clip is like, okay, this is clickbait, whatever. Because but that's me.
But this is the evolution of it. Hold on. So it hits, it lands. It's probably this far away, right? Yeah. It's like it's not a gimme by any means. So I remember I was like, oh, I got that on my phone, and I was talking with another person about it, and we actually discussed when we do eventually post it, we shouldn't put almost hole in one, because real golfers will know it's not an almost hole in one. Yeah. LeBron was like, hey, can you text that to me? So I texted it to him, and all he did was post it on stories. He didn't make like a huge thing about it. He posts good shots that he hits.
Yeah. Like his chip in.
Oh yeah. So he posted that, and then the internet aggregated it.
Zaire Golf picks it up.
Everybody picked it up and said LeBron almost got a hole in one. We never actually said that. So, so Mike, I'm conscious of it. I'm just saying. Yeah. And to all the commenters who were like, of course, LeBron said he almost, he called it, whatever. Like, that's a thing that he gets made fun of. I pulled out my phone maybe 3 times. The only reason why I did it is because he said, I'm going to get a hole in one here. And just saying, like, he absolutely did call it. Yeah. Like, he said, I think I'm going to get a hold of it. Almost snobby.
Well, no,
you're already from across the pond, so you're snobby there.
Yeah.
Now you're judging all my
glasses and all the things. Yeah. And I speak with that. I can really turn it on. But the one thing I struggle to turn off and is like, I played golf my entire life. Yeah. Right. Since I was 4 years old, and I forget that the average golfer. You see these things. Yeah. And the average golfer isn't. But the other golfer isn't out there to like I played competitively basically like my whole life, right? Dude. And I'm still not a professional golfer. I'm nowhere near as good as those guys should have been, but I'm decent. But compared to the rest of the world, I'm like top 1%, right? Which is like hard to contextualize sometimes, because I'm playing golf tournaments. I'm like, oh, I shot 75 today. I played shit. And everyone's like, my lowest round.
I would like 81. Die for that. Yeah.
And you see these things, these
like
polls
if I could
on
throw
Instagram.
the ball, I wouldn't get 75.
Right? You see these polls on Instagram. It's like, oh, if you have 1 year to shoot below 70, or you spend like 10 years in jail, or all these dumb things they put out, and I'm like, no brainer. But I forget that the average golfer doesn't break 90 in America, right? But that also lends epically to content. Yeah, because if I stand up there and I'm like, oh, I shot 75, and they're like,
it'd be a little boring.
Yeah, it would be boring.
Well, it not be boring. I'm just saying
the golf would be boring.
Yeah. So
you got a storytelling side.
There's got to be a storytelling side to it. So it's hard for you to turn your brain off when you're watching average golfers. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? My good friend Annie Funky, who I've told you about,
who needs to come on the podcast.
So she kind of has a similar feeling when she goes to karaoke bar, because she's like sang professionally on Broadway, has one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. Yeah. She has to like turn her brain off, That's when we're just like, we're halfway there. Like she has to be like, these are average people, average singing, and she like refuses to do karaoke because of it. But this reminds me of it, weirdly
Unlike the
enough.
guy who was singing at Cookies that one time, but who was like the pro and he wanted to be the pro.
Oh yeah. Well, karaoke's a weird thing because if you're too good, everyone's like this
guy. Yeah.
All right, we get it, buddy.
Yeah.
So the key to if you're a good singer and you're watching this, the key to good karaoke is just make sure you miss a couple notes. So you become like the rest of us.
What was remind me one of your best friend's name who was at your birthday that was singing the Chili Dog song, but she was putting in different Katie, that's right. That's perfect.
Yeah. So her bit, which I don't know if it's originally her bit. It's little ditty about Jack and Diane.
That's right. Yeah.
Two American kids on out.
A classic.
Man. And then when she gets to the part where it goes, sucking on chili dog, she just says it over and over again. So she sings the whole beginning, little ditty about Jack and Diane, and then she gets a sucking on chili dog, sucking on a chili dog, sucking on chili dog, sucking on. It goes. I don't even.
She's written the song for you now.
Oh, literally don't know. And then when it gets to chorus, she's like sucking on chili dogs, and everyone sings along. It's great. I will say that my new karaoke song that has been a hit, and I think you've seen me do it, maybe.
Probably.
I'm on a Boat by Lonely Island.
What's the? You'll have.
It goes. I'm on a boat. Look at me, everybody. Look at me. I'm standing on a boat. It's kind of a guaranteed hit because you don't have to be a good singer. Everyone definitely knows that song. Okay. Except for Mike.
Everyone in America knows that song, not me.
But even if you don't know it, I'm just yelling. I'm on a boat. And like you can get behind that, right? Yeah, 100%. So it's a great karaoke song. I highly recommend it. What would be yours?
It's either that or it would be something that would be super American because I now love America.
So what would be your? Hold on, I've got
some
stack of cash, and your family's locked in a closet. And if you don't sing your karaoke song, brother, I don't know. What are you doing?
I mean, it's probably some classic country song,
like Garth Brooks.
Yeah, or like Should Have Been a Cowboy or something like that from.
Perfect pick,
right?
Perfect pick.
Yeah, because of just like how like that fits me perfect.
My buddy can't sing. Speaking of Toby Keith, he always does I Love This Bar.
Yes, great song.
And that's a really easy song for if you can't sing because you kind of just talk.
And then God Bless Your Friends in Low Places is also an easy one.
Well, you got to sing that.
But like, no, everyone knows that one, right?
Right.
They can help you out during that one.
Like, I Love This Bar is like talking. Yeah, we got women. We got like you're just kind of talking it. Anyways, well, that's good. You got to do that next time. Should have been a cowboy.
Your Taylor is going to reach out to you. You're getting golf lessons, so your golf game's improving. What is kind of the rest of, what are we at now? It's August, coming into the fall.
Yeah.
It's going to cool down a little bit. What's the rest of your year look like?
I'm just getting into this cadence, to be honest. Like, this is obviously a big venture personally. And so I had to forego a bunch of other gigs. I traditionally sort of worked freelance. So I was doing anywhere between 4 to 8 gigs at a time. This was going to require so much of my time, that we arranged to where I basically only do this and one other thing. So this summer's been actually very difficult because I had to close the chapter on some things, but wrap it up while starting a new thing. So there are a lot of people when they take new jobs, they'll take like, I'm going to take a couple weeks off. I'm going to take a month off. No, mine was like, no, I'm just going to double up on work for 2 months. And so this like week of you and I recording this podcast is the first time I've been like home. And it's been awesome. So I think every few weeks I'll have to travel, but I think for the most part it's gonna be chill. Gonna go to London for Thanksgiving. It's gonna be
family.
Sure. Love London and Thanksgiving. Yeah. If you highly recommend it, it's very romantic.
Did you go last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's very good. Well, that's the thing. There's so much to do in London. You can't just do one trip. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
So much to do.
Especially around the holidays.
And
there's so many markets and stuff like that. Like, you don't even have to spend money and just go to markets and just take in the vibes. Big Christmas vibes, guy.
Christmas vibe.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but that's how I am.
Yeah, kind of.
But you, any big tournaments coming up?
I'm in one right now. I'm currently waiting on we have a little storm system coming through Oklahoma City, so my tee time's been delayed, more weather delays, so storm. So I was supposed to tee off at 1 o'clock today in the second round of the Oklahoma Open. I shot 3 under yesterday. I'm currently T12. Someone shot 8 under.
Wow.
5 behind right now.
Keep it together. Lock in.
Yeah, lock in. So I'm glad we got to do this before, but it's storming. So my tea time was probably going to be 3 o'clock this afternoon, which is totally fine. But yeah, that's the only one really I have. I've done my golf season's kind of June, July, August. And so wrapping up now.
Worst.
That's the hardest part. It's like I don't work from June, July, and August at all.
It's hot as nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yesterday was pretty brutal. And then into the fall, I just start, have to work again, and the grass turns beige, and, no one plays golf as much. But I will say, in Oklahoma, September and October are the best months to play golf because the weather's perfect.
Yeah.
They can let the golf courses go. They're not overwatering to worry about burning up the greens. So they let them go because the Bermuda's going to die. The greens are really good. And September and October is good. So we'll have to play.
I would love that. And I'm like, being on these courses all day, like I get it. I get the love of it. I get why people are the way they are. Like so much is making sense. Like why are so many golfers, why are their skin so GD leathery?
Yeah.
Why are they so leathery? And now I've spent 4 days on the freaking, my face. I feel like I've been a sailor for 50 years. My face was just like
Well, you're also
hot and just, no, but like, you know what it is. You're just out there all freaking day. Anyways, so I'm just going to be.
Why not? You play golf till you drop. What's the YouTube channel if people aren't listening? And
Called LeBron James.
it's literally just called LeBron James.
Yeah.
That's what the YouTube golf channel is called.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
What, do you have a more catchy name?
I mean, I figured he already had a YouTube channel about
No,
other stuff.
this is his personal YouTube channel. This is his personal one.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
for
Do we
those
have
who
a
want to
second-
know,
like, do you have this rolled out too?
we got a lot of stuff in the works. But
Okay.
for those who want to know, like whenever JJ and I started, when we started The Old Man and the Three with Tommy and, JJ's co-host and all this other stuff, there was a point in which we're creating the YouTube channel where we thought, did we call it The Old Man and the Three or did we call it JJ Redick? And if you're going by pure SEO standpoint, pure algorithmic standpoint, I just said it's got to be called JJ Redick. Like more people are going to search JJ Redick podcast than they are The Old Man and the Three. Now, the fun fact about that is that he had a prior iteration of his podcast called the JJ Redick podcast that the Ringer owned, so he couldn't use it. But we can call his YouTube channel JJ Redick all day long. It's kind of same kind of thinking here. It's like, is there a more effective name than LeBron James? Probably not. Like, what are we going to call it? The Kings? You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways,
LeBron James.
you're going to change
on
this to
YouTube.
Mike Hearn YouTube channel?
I mean, I might, right? I should start
I
making
could follow you around with a
start
camera.
making some money on it. Awesome. Well, dude, it's good to catch up. I'm glad you're having a lot more life realizations in the golf space. Get comfy shoes, your step count's going up, and you've got the, from the filming side as well, you've got the bug for the golf game.
Yeah. It's awesome. And we're going to get better. Like it was to start in Scotland with 6 subpar to terrible golfers was a challenge. And,
How big's your crew on average?
that's 6
Okay.
people.
So you have 4 cameras at once? 2 sound guys?
Usually 4. And then I'll hold a
One of these.
DJI. Yeah. Another guy will do, the sound guy will do the same because you're basically always,
Yeah, you're recording.
if you're on the course, you should have a camera on you.
Yeah.
And so it's a tight crew. Yeah. It's small and nimble and hardworking. And yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's like when we finish these trips, it feels like we've gone to hell and back. And like, we just like all hug.
And it comes down to an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Content,
I know.
which
And
is
then
really
you get into
hard.
post-production and then you're like, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
boy.
But very, very cool. Follow the channel, subscribe, all that other stuff.
And if you
Because
have awesome. People watching, listen, check out the show notes. But yeah, search LeBron James and you'll find his YouTube channel. So catch next episode.
Hope you guys enjoyed that great episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, sharing Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at OklahomaHOF. Our other sponsor, the Chickasaw Nation, amazing sponsor. They do amazing things for the state, and they're always sponsoring something in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma, and without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Metro Ford of OKC is proudly serving Oklahoma City with vehicles you can rely on and service you can trust. It's also why they're Oklahoma's #1 performance dealership. Shop the inventory today at metrofordokc.com, where the difference is real.
Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my 2 pups, and the doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible. So if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, They do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedogHouseOKC.com and follow them on Instagram at thedogHouseOKC, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.